Cloud. Let me get her to Facebook going. Let's see.
Hey, Richard, you want to take a stab at doing the intro?
Yeah, sure.
Then today, brother, it's yours. That'll save my voice a little bit because it's starting to get a little scratchy.
I'll do it.
Cool. No pressure.
No pressure at all. Yeah. Thanks for the heads up.
You handle worse.
I'm about to go live. Give me about a 10-second delay so I can get it copied over and show up on Written Undead.
Jack, you realize your screen says J.R. Bonds on it?
Oh, hang on. I got to fix that. Hang on. I'll fix it. I forgot.
I'm going to give you, and once I get it started, I'm going to give you host, Jack.
Okay.
All
right. Hey, Randy, give me a funny last name.
Oh.
Like you'd been doing. I guess I'd go with Jack Spratt.
Jack is a knife. Jack Mack.
It's not a bad one either. I might use that one for the second half of the show.
Hey, Andy, how do you say that one book? Is it Nefertum?
Yeah, Nefertum.
Nefertum. Okay.
Oh, crap. I lost all my information when I left the screen. Hold on a second.
Okay. I've got to trim this damn mustache.
Yeah. No, I cannot. All right. And just a second. All right, we're live.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Written Undead podcast. I'm Richard R. Rose, and with me, I've got Jack Childress, aka Jack Mack today, Angel Ramon, and our featured author today is the amazing A.L. Wright, the author of the Z Chronicle series and the Nefertum series. So we've got Undead, and we got sci-fi, aliens, all kinds of stuff going on in this in these awesome books. So plenty to talk about today. How you doing today? Can I call you Andy or AL, or what do you prefer to be called?
You can just call me Tony.
Tony?
Tony.
Tony, okay.
Hey, Tony.
Tony, yeah.
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty exciting to be here. Well, I was a little nervous because I generally don't talk. The only time I've ever talked on one of these was when we did the Written Undead convention, and I had a few beers in me. So we'll see how this goes on coffee.
Well, okay.
Quick
Well,
question.
feel free to crack one open. I'm drinking from my Bigfoot mug that my wife made. On my website.
Yes, Jack, I see it. I see it, Titans, and they're gonna get crushed.
So, Tony, how did you get started? Where did all this journey through all these books begin?
Well, I always wrote sci-fi pretty much because I didn't like the endings of a lot of stuff, so I would just write my own story and it would just go on forever and ever. I worked with another indie author who wrote a how-to book on prepping in a zombie apocalypse, and he was kind of just goading me to write something, and I decided to write something about zombies. And I didn't know what I was going to write about, and I just got my baby that sits in the garage most of the year, and my wife asked me, because like, remember when you were 16 and you got your license, somebody asked you to go do something, you just jumped in the car. They didn't even get to finish and you were ready to drive. That's how I am with this car. And she said, could you drive me up to the store? I just need to get one thing. I said, just one thing? She said, yes, just one thing. I said, all right, I don't want to sit out here forever. So I drove up there, and it, of course, took forever. And I'm watching this family get out of a minivan, and it was a mom, dad, 2 daughters, and a son. And by the time my wife came out, that was the Chronicles. That was my characters. I just sat there in my head and thought the whole thing through, and went home and started writing.
So was that an exciting feeling as you were sitting there trying to, basically entertain yourself, I assume?
Well, usually I see a lot of stuff in my head like a movie. And that's how it was with them. Only, they were all arguing about something, the mom, dad, and the kids. And the only thing missing were the 2 dogs in the Z Chronicles. And they were only supposed to be in for a chapter, and they're pretty much the main characters toward the end. And then, I went a little sci-fi towards the 3rd book. The 4th book was a novella, which actually splits the characters, so I can write 2 other series. It says final chapter, but it ended up being splitting them, so now that's 2 series I can go into. And then
Wow. So you're just working on the 2?
I'm actually working on those 2. I've got 2 different novellas that I started. I have a new series that I'm pretty excited about. Somehow I got really into ancient viruses. We have global warming. They're finding viruses in the ice all the time, and they actually come back to life in the lab. And that's and the Angel Ramon character is kind of they find, not to tell you too much, they find frozen Neanderthals, and they send a team out there, and they need a guy like Angel, but he was discredited in his profession because he's a big partier. They didn't want him out on the ice with them, but he goes anyway, and somehow becomes case 0, because of course he could not have a few drinks while he was on the ice, bringing in the Neanderthals. That Angel, he's a wild man.
Yes, he is. That he definitely
I won't tell you how he dies, but that's my big one I'm working on. So it starts off with a pandemic, and honestly, I started writing it before the pandemic. So
I was about to ask you if that was part of your inspiration, but
no, I put it aside because of the pandemic, because I thought everybody's gonna say, "Oh, we have a pandemic, and here's this," and there are some similarities. The plus side is there's stuff that happened during this pandemic that I could have never dreamed up to put in a book. So the toilet paper run, all that stuff, that's good filler.
no doubt.
Tony, I got a question. How did you get into zombie fiction anyway? What book or movie got you into zombie fiction?
Actually, I couldn't even tell you which one. I mean, I used to just watch them. I never thought about writing them. I kind of thought about it a little bit. I think one of the Percy Jackson movies, they have zombie sailors in it or something like that. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool. I can put a zombie in anything. I can't even think of a movie because first of all, since chemo, my thought process is missing. So like 2 hours after this, I'll be able to think of names of movies, and then I'll just nag all you guys and I'll say, "Oh, well, here."
That sounds like
I have so many that I like to watch. right. So many I like to watch, and so many I like to make fun of. It's there's a few zombie movies where there's zombies, and then all of a sudden the zombie that couldn't walk is boxing like he's Mike Tyson. He's got the moves and he's dancing around like Muhammad Ali. And it's like 5 seconds ago he was shuffling his feet and he couldn't move.
Yeah, and what was the one where the
just
zombie
everywhere.
fell in love?
Oh yeah, I can't think of the name of it, but I know what you're talking about.
It's just ridiculous.
Teenage Zombie or something.
Warm Hearts or something like that.
Yeah.
Warm Bodies, maybe. Yeah.
Bodies, yeah.
There's another
And
one.
to think
I can't
somebody
think
got
of the name,
paid for that.
where they come up with a cure and they start curing the zombies, but halfway through it's like most of the zombies don't want to be cured. So
Oh yeah, The Cure or the Cured, I think's the name of it.
Yeah.
If it's what I'm thinking of, yeah.
Oh, damn. I may have to find that one. I had never heard of that.
it's actually
It's
not
interesting.
bad.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's one of those that you start watching and you can't stop. Like you kind of want to stop, but you just keep going to see where it goes. Kind of like my
Well, now,
you
since-
just want to put them down.
Well, with you having so many books out there, if you were to get approached about doing a TV series or a movie, would you have any limitations? Like, if it can't be on the big screen, then we ain't doing it. Or I guess I could go sci-fi. That'll be fine. Do you have any restrictions on where your work could wind up if it were to make it onto the screen?
Just depends on what they're paying me.
That's the answer.
Good
Yeah.
answer.
I'm of the honesty.
If you want to do it in the back of a 18-wheeler with glass walls down the highway, that's fine.
Right.
What you're
As long as I'm
paying.
getting paid.
It's
So-
my only thing would be is what you're paying me and how true to the characters you're going to be.
Speaking of, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I said, speaking of the characters, I noticed you have an Angel Ramon character. So are all your characters based on people you know or real people in general?
That's something I picked up when I was a moderator in Written Undead. Is a lot of people, we had to contest the main characters after people. I'd always shied away from it before that. I didn't want, God forbid, 15 years from now, somebody come out of the woodwork and say, hey, that's definitely me. And I didn't give you permission to use me. So I'd always shied away from it and, made
Well-
sure I had the disclaimer. This is nobody.
Well, Tony, just know this. You got my full permission. You got my full blessing to use me any way you want, all right? So no worries.
Well, after you killed me in ancient Rome, I thought that was implied.
No, but I'm announcing it here, so that you know.
Public forum.
A lot of people's going to want to kill. A lot of people's going to want to kill Jack Childress in my upcoming book. I can promise you that. You're not going to like him. He's a scumbag.
Ooh.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm just curious. I mean, it seems like that's one route that a lot of people go nowadays. I know I'm one of them. I like to. There we go. Bear
yeah.
Barons kiss the ring.
Back in his little baggie.
I'm with you. Yeah, I base a lot of my characters on real people, but I ask their permission first. I don't get.
Well, most of my characters are like mixtures of people.
Mhm.
Like I said, in Z Chronicles, I never thought the two sisters would be the main characters. The Virginia character, she's very popular. I don't even know what age Virginia is. Like 12, 13, but to her, zombies are basically a video game. So killing zombies to her is fun. There's no element of danger. My dogs are way too trained. They were based off my dogs. I had a 190-pound black lab mix, and I have a full lab that's 145 pounds. So that they became Zeus and Apollo.
A lot of lab.
I can pretty much promise you that the smaller one would never run into a house and got zombies for me. He might stand behind me, but
You got this, Daddy.
yeah, that's about it. He likes to if I'm home anyway, peek around the window if somebody's at the, or around the wall if somebody's at the front door. My wife's there, he'll charge out, and he's a big tough guy. Actually, my colleague now would be more of a threat.
We got a question here by Bethany Dayon, and she's asking AL, what's the name of your next book? She's asking Tony.
Right now, I believe it's going to be The Keep. Originally, it was going to be ZV-19 or something like that for zombie virus 19, or NZV-19 for Neanderthal zombie virus. But the more I thought about that, the stupider it sounded, and we didn't need any help pushing my books the other way. So the new one's going to be called The Keep, just because of where they're going to hold out. And plus, I think it can lead me to have another series after this series.
Is that going to be the start of a new series or a continuance?
Yes, this is all the start of the new series. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be a virus that's without giving too much away, makes you sleep. It's like you have a bad cold and it makes you sleep. So what the hospitals are full of people that are sleeping, can't wake up, being the first spreader, because the virus spreads to like one person infects every 9 people they come in contact. Of course, certain character with the initials AR will be the first one to wake up and be a zombie. And that's probably too much away from the book. So, but yeah. The only thing we haven't decided yet if Angel's going to be alive in there and understanding he's a zombie.
Oh, I think he should. I absolutely think he should. I would love I would love the internal commentary.
Yeah, like kind of going along, going, "Oh God, don't eat that! Don't eat that! Find some bacon. Where's the bacon at? I don't want that."
It writes itself.
I know. That's what I thought.
Now, have you ever read or listened to Mark Tufo's Tim trilogy? It's about
I'd like to.
Read that before you do that, because that's basically what he did, and it's grisly. it's very grisly. Oh, excuse my rasp. Ugh.
I love Tufo, but yeah, that's one series I couldn't get into. I read that. I've listened to the first book. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, it's hard because when I was in, Written Undead, trying to read the authors that I was there with, and now there's so many new authors that, I offered advice to one thinking, about a month ago that it was just somebody starting out writing, and it turns out they were one of the new authors. And I thought, oh, I'm sorry, just ignore me.
Well, I can say as a new author, I'll take all the advice I can get from any of you guys. I mean, I've gotten a lot of advice already. It's helped me out exponentially. So I'm always open to feedback and constructive criticism or whatever. I mean, I've got thick skin. I can handle that. Just coming from me personally.
To be honest with you, though, I mean, even me as a veteran, I'm still learning something new every day. Even as a veteran, you're still learning something new every day. Mm-hmm. I mean, so I mean, you never stop learning, even if you're 5-10 years down the road. It's and the market's always changing too.
Did you ever notice how you tell yourself after you finish a book and you're starting the next one, you're like, wow, I shouldn't have did that. I'm never going to do that again. And then probably about a quarter of the way through the new book, there you are again.
Yeah, exactly.
I keep telling myself I'm not going to kill off 95% of the characters. and that lasts about a quarter of the book. And then the first one goes. And then, it's like, okay, Richard was going to be a main character, but you know what? This is just a perfect time and perfect way to die. And you got to rethink things a little bit, but you just move on because it's a zombie book. People are supposed to die.
Always a big body count in a zombie book.
Yeah. And then you get, private messages going, well, I really like those 3 characters you killed off. I try not to.
Hey, as a fan and not a writer, and Angel knows this, it sucks when y'all kill characters we really like. It really sucks. But I understand sometimes it's the time you have to do it, and
Yep.
it just happens. And that's a
But-
shout out to Merrill David too. While I'm onto the subject, poor do man.
I mean,
But no,
Jack, you have to realize, you might not like it, but there's a reason. Trust me, there's a reason why the bard dies in my story. Believe me.
But he
And-
could have had a wife and kids and all kinds of fun stuff.
You'll see. We book 2 years, and there's a little more backstory to him. So
Well,
Gotta be careful about killing off animals, though. Yeah, I noticed you got.
No, I
dogs
don't.
and-
No.
Yeah.
I have teased with Zeus a few times because Zeus is old.
Mhm.
And there's a time when Zeus is trying to protect Virginia, and there's just too many, and he falls to the ground, and the zombies start influencing. I had somebody send me a message, and they know me, and they actually said, if I would have felt like paying for an airline phone, you would have got an earful. When I heard that part, which is so lucky I read further, and how can I kill off Zeus?
oh, that's cute, Jack. I'm like,
This is Zeus, my Zeus,
There you go.
oh, he's so cute.
17 years old.
17.
Yeah, oh yeah. No teeth. He's blind. He can't hear me. Hello. Nope, nothing. He's got
So
nothing.
cute, Jack. You like a puppy.
Yeah, little Chihuahua. Most
Yep.
dangerous dog on the planet. So now, have you ever thought about, because again, I'm going to go back to Tufo on this one because it's something, he does stuff that you just rarely see. Have you ever thought about doing an entire book, even maybe just a novella, strictly from the perspective of an animal?
Actually, I have thought about that. I actually did a short story that I did 2 short stories, and one where you think it's an animal being captured. It's 2 animals running and something hunting them, and they end up being captured in a net. It turns out it's humans running from aliens. And then I have a short story that's called Quality. It's kind of like, everybody's had to do this. I'm a big animal person. Right now I 2 dogs, 2 cats. I think that's like the minimum we've ever had in here. I come from, my mother loved cats, my grandparents, and you get an animal that's 17 years old and they're so sick, not meaning yours. They're so sick that you're at that choice where them living on is suffering, and it's selfish of you to make them, and you have to go put them down. And we had to do that with one of our cats who caught something. And I came home that night, and Quality is about a dystopian world where you only get insurance when you work, and you could be a productive member of society. When you get sick and you can't work, the government and everybody cuts you off, and you have to, whatever savings you have. And it gets to a point where the husband is so sick that the doctors are saying, well, you can pay all this money and we can't save him, or for this price, we'll just get him a shot and he'll go to sleep. And it's through his perspective of realizing what's happening to him, because nobody comes into him and says, look, we're just going to euthanize you, and that's that. It's him noticing what's going on and noticing that the wife doesn't want to go in the room with him, which a lot of people do with their pets as well. That's pretty down.
Well, now along that same vein, because I'm one of these types. Every pet that I've had over the past 20 years, which has only been a handful, thankfully, because they've lived so long. After they've passed, I've gotten them all cremated, and they're on their own little boxes. I got them sitting over here on the bookshelf as we speak. Do you do
we have
that?
a bookshelf. I call it the bookshelf with that. I know that doesn't sound good. But that's where my pets are.
Now, do you ever talk to them still?
No, I have too many passed away relatives. The prissy, I talk to my mom, I talk to my grandmother. Sometimes I talk to myself. I get kind of pissy when I don't answer, or I'm not talking to me.
I know that guy too.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we got something in common though, because I'm a huge black lab lover. I had a black lab that across the Rainbow Bridges last year named Dixie, and she's in my book now. And I've got a black lab about 96 pounds. I thought she was big until you told me about your big old lab, but named Maggie. And I also love cats, but my wife won't let me have any more cats because she mad because I don't change kitty litter. I don't know what the problem is, but
No, that's my wife's job.
yeah.
I pick up in the backyard. She does that.
Say I was kind of waiting for a shoe to come flying in from the side and catch AL right in the side of the head just then.
She's downstairs.
Boomerang.
Well, and that wouldn't happen. It's like I was telling Jack that I got wounded and had to have surgery and now have a nice sized hole in my back that needs to be packed. So if I really irritated her and she wanted to hurt me, that's some pretty tender things right
Yeah.
there.
Ouch. Now, Tony, I got another question for you, buddy. As an author, would you be open to writing in other genres outside of horror and zombies?
Or even sci-fi.
Writing another, yeah, I do. I write horror, I write sci-fi.
How about a Western?
My one horror book or
A horror
like
fantasy.
Let's hear about the horror book there.
The horror book is well, I guess it's kind of tied into to zombies.
I have to read your
It's
horror. I read
called
your
Book of
sci-fi.
Death. And the author is a zombie author. When he was a kid, he was bullied and picked on a lot, and then a fallen archangel came to his rescue and made a blood pact with him. So really, when he wrote horror, even as a kid, it was the zombie show, or not the zombie, the archangel. Because really, if you look up about archangel, they're the heavenly rear-end kickers. You know, they went down and smote things and destroyed civilization. So he puts this into the kid's head, and he can write, and he grows up and he's an author. And he decides that he doesn't want to write zombie and horror books anymore because what he found out is that every name he used, like if he, John Doe, some John Doe in the world died the way he killed them in the book, because that's what the archangel would go do. So he writes I don't know. Yeah, I'm too bad. I start telling the entire book.
I mean, in the fallen archangel, by definition, a demon or a devil, depending on the rank. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just does what he wants, and he thinks the Lord no longer sees him or talks to him. And he gets kind of pissed off when the zombie author isn't going to stick with what he wants done. He looks forward to the books as much as the author's fans. So that was my horror one. No, go ahead.
I like that. I've got to get my hands on that. In fact, when we get off here, I need you to get me a link to that because would look really good back there. So just saying, I've got to check that out. Now, is that available on Audible?
It's on Audible. I sent you a link to it.
That's right. Lisa, I ain't been right for days.
No, I know you ain't been feeling it. I got you. I know the feeling.
I'm interested in that myself, but Jack, you can share that with me.
I will.
I've actually read Tony's sci-fi. You gotta check it out. It's pretty good stuff. His sci-fi is really good too. Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I read for him. I mean, I have his zombie books. I just haven't had the time to read them. But the sci-fi is on the ball.
All right, really hard question since we're talking about sci-fi. Roddenberry, Lucas. Pick your pill.
That's an unfair pick. I mean, definitely Roddenberry always. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm not a big fan of Disney making 95 million Star Wars shows and movies.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
Dumping. It used to be a little exciting waiting for the next movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then Disney buys them, and it's like, bam, here we got 15 TV shows for you to watch. And guess what? We have 4 prequels coming out next month alone. Line up. And it's like, let me
Money
give
grab.
me a minute. Get a little excited.
I can't help it. Anytime I see a commercial for anything to do with Star Wars, I just grab my wallet, throw it at the TV. Like, here.
Well, and like
Take
like all of us. I mean, but
Jack, make me
Star
laugh.
Trek, I've always been since a little kid. I think Will Shatner is like the best Captain Kirk. I like Chris Pine as Captain Kirk. I like that new series with that. Some of the TV shows I've liked a lot. Next Generation and all of those, but they're all different in a way, but they follow, what his vision was. Because we'd all like to live in a world where everything was perfect, and if it wasn't, you just pull out your tricorder and scan.
Beam me
them.
up, Scotty.
Yeah.
Well, now, since
Yeah.
I'm
And
going to.
speaking of Scotty,
Oh.
just how tough is Scotty? He's the only red shirt that has never died.
Good point.
Very good point.
Yeah, I never noticed that until you just mentioned that. And I've been
Yeah,
watching Star Trek all my life.
It
Holy
never
crap.
hit me.
Yeah. And he's
He
never
really is.
died, never got wounded.
My whole life has been alive. Thanks.
Yeah, for real. We can just wrap this up now, y'all. I'm out. No, I'm not. I'm back. All right. Well, since we're on that vein, Kirk, Picard.
That's a tough choice. If it's William Shatner's Kirk, it's Kirk.
Yep.
If it's Chris
Yeah,
Pine,
okay,
then I
absolutely.
have to. Then it's a 50-50. I mean, come on, who? His overacting alone should have got him like Emmys and Oscars all the way down the line. I mean, it's got to be hard to do that.
But
and then he got to go to space.
I don't
So
understand.
Yeah. So yeah.
Slugs.
Why do you write these zombie tales?
Yeah.
Where's the blue chick?
I mean, but then I like the superhero stuff too, so I watched all that. The first week I had Disney, I just sat and watched I was like a little kid in a candy store. It's like, okay, we're gonna start on this superhero, work our way through to that. Then we're going over to Star Wars and working our way through that.
Now, have you done Have you done the Marvel movies in the proper order versus like their actual release dates? Because I've
tried to. It just sometimes it'll, you're sitting there and you're looking and you're like, oh, that's the second Thor. I should watch the first Thor. And you're like, oh no, but this one's good. This is where Hawk, he says that we both have huge passion and like large flames, and the Hawk says, Hawk big flame, you puny flame.
It's like, for me, I'm with you on that, because when I was doing it in order, when I got to Thor 1, I still had the beginning of Ragnarok in my head, with the and I'm like, I want to watch that one first. But I made myself stick with it, but it made it all that more enjoyable when I got to that.
Yes.
Because, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, of all the intros to any of those movies, any of them, even Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, anybody, that opening is one of the best ever.
Yes. Oh, I agree.
So who's your favorite superhero? And then I'll pass it off because I'm getting a little.
I had to say Batman. I mean, he has no superpowers. He just has money. I mean, there's a lot of billionaires out there. I think I should be seeing on the news fighting crime. But I mean, he just gets the job done. And nobody ever guesses that he's Bruce Wayne. I mean, when you can dress how you want at work, don't you just want to go as Batman sometimes? You just walk through.
For me, it would be Deadpool. That's my guy up
Deadpool
there on
would
the
be
shelf. Because his personality.
When I was young, Superman was my favorite, but he's kind of fallen off, and it's not as exciting in the movies. I don't think it's as he was when
Yeah, overpowered man in tights.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was a Superman fan all through my childhood, but I'm kind of a Deadpool guy now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are they going to make another Deadpool?
Yes, and the writers for the next Deadpool are the 2 women writers for Bob's Burgers.
Oh, okay.
In case y'all didn't know, yeah. So the comedy should be top shelf. I'm hoping.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say he's gonna work at a burger shop.
Now, if he was going to work anywhere, it'd be a place he could get chimichangas.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got a question for you. As far as I know you mentioned writing a couple of novellas. So what purpose? What was the purpose of writing a novella? Because I just wrote my first draft of one. I'm just curious what other authors use them for.
Well, this is what my plan is I'd like to get 3 or 4 books to a series done in a year, and in between them, so that people don't forget me, release novellas. I like novellas. I mean, I think nowadays the industry standard is 40,000 as a book, a small book. So as long as you're under 40,000, it's something that normally you can knock out fairly quick. And then you have something to release in the middle. Plus, I like novellas. When I used to ride the train into Chicago to go to work, it was nice to listen to a book, and it's nice listening to a long book, but it's also nice listening to something that's finished by the time I get to work, so I can start something else on the way back.
So,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
But I have my novellas on audio too, and sometimes some people love that because it's short, and some people don't.
That leads to my next question on that, because so you have your novellas separately as on Audible as well.
Yeah. Plus, I started out. Z Chronicles is technically a novella, the first book. And when starting out, I like the idea of doing the first book as a novella to see if there's interest in it. Really kind of stinks to spend a lot of time on 85, 90,000 words and then nobody wants to read it. And you're like, wow, I thought it was a questionable way to look at it. Hybrid Z is actually what it says. It's you're part human, part zombie. Some people can control it, some people can't. At my second Walker Stalker con, I actually had an author. There was a big horror group there, and he came up and read the book. And remember, he looks at me, he goes, if I was to ask you what one thing I should do to be an author, what would you say? I said, read a lot and write a lot. And just, yeah, that's what everybody says. And I thought, okay, well, the guy's a jerk, but if he's going to buy a book, I'll keep my mouth shut. And then he goes, oh, a hybrid zombie. How idiotic. And I remember thinking, good, why don't you waddle back over to your table and stay over there?
Well, see, that's one of my favorite things about getting to know all you independent authors is the fact that it's so different from one writer to the next. We don't want, and I'm speaking as a fan, because I don't write. I do not write. We don't want the same thing regurgitated by 15 different people. We like it when we start reading something or listening to something, and suddenly we're like, holy crap, I didn't see that coming. All right. And we ride along. So to be that narrow-minded, to be that just like, it's got to be this one thing and this one thing only, is just idiotic. I mean, yeah. I love the twist. I mean, Richard, Angel, 2 perfect examples of that. They're books that have zombies in them. They don't have that much in common other than you could say zombie. Outside of that, 2 totally different stories, and it's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I'm a pantser, so you never know where my story's going. I mean, sometimes I can have a sci-fi idea in my head, and it's just going to keep bleeding into what I'm writing now. I try to stop it, but it goes where it's going to go. And on that, it's Z Chronicles. I didn't want to have caused by a virus because everybody's was spread. So
right, exactly.
And I never really talked about it a lot until the final books. But it's all a parasite. And the parasite takes over part of your brain and shuts off the other parts, and that's how you become a zombie. It just wants to be alive.
Well, I know I've mentioned this before in past episodes, and I'll go ahead and mention it again because I'm like a broken record. Since you said the parasite thing, you should check out, if you haven't already seen it, the Metallica video for the song All Nightmare Long, because they have their own twist on the zombie apocalypse and how
Okay.
it starts, and it involves parasites. Like, it's the craziest thing. It's like the whole Russia versus America, which Camille Picot has that whole thing covered over there. But the music video is fantastic. And it's like you said, they went a different route. It wasn't a virus. It wasn't
Right.
some freak accident. This was totally intentional. And sometimes the intentional ones are fun. Well, hell, ask David Simpson, Zombie Road.
Right.
So now
YouTube in that video when we get done with this.
you need to, dude. It is so bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll have to see it.
So now, when you're not writing, what are things you like to do in your pastime? Just to have fun, take the wife out, have a good time. What do you like to do?
Well, normally I'm working. I work in IT. I'm a big movie watcher, and streaming has made me a huge couch potato. That's pretty much it. I got an Oculus for Christmas. So
How's that?
I spend my life playing that. And you put me in and then people are like, how far are you on the book? Oh, I'm doing pretty good. As I'm, playing some sort of military game on Oculus, trying not to get killed.
We'll just call it research.
Yeah. Well, okay, I got The Walking Dead on there so that I could research that way. And if I ever get through the training section, I'll let you know how good the research
Okay.
is going.
Keep us updated.
I've got to be the only person that's killed in the training sections constantly.
You haven't ever seen me play a video game. I'm trying to play Guardians of the Galaxy right now.
That's what I'm playing.
Really?
I'm playing that too right now.
Oh, that game is cool as hell.
Mhm.
Excuse my puberty. That was not supposed to come out that way.
But it was perfect.
I reckon. Damn it. I
Yeah,
knew
I'm
this
not
was
one to
coming.
brag, but my wife and kids and my son-in-law all chipped in and bought me a PS5 for Christmas. So I'm like a kid in a candy store right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
nice.
That's how I am. It's just like it just doesn't stop. And actually, I've even been doing lately. They have virtual fishing.
Hey, that'd be my
Oh,
style.
nice.
Oh, it's nice. It's like you're sitting right on the bank. The only difference is I can put on sunglasses so I can see the fish. And so it's not as nice as sitting out on a boat with a beer with somebody, but I'm in my own living room and nobody's bothering me.
And you don't have to worry about drowning.
That too, right.
And it doesn't really cost me for all the bait I'm losing to fish that are too big for my full catch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to play that.
Sorry, Jack.
Oh, I was going to say, I'd played that Real Fishing on PlayStation. And I mean, the ambient noises always got me because I'd wind up just sitting there like, I'd forget to fish altogether.
I was stationed on the Mississippi Gulf Coast before I moved here to San Antonio, and I had a nice boat, went out there in the ocean and
that's so nice.
casting a line, salt air, and drilling in God knows what, I loved it. Now I'm in San Antonio.
I mean, that's like Angel. How far are you from the beach, Angel? Like,
Oh, it's about 2.5 hour drive to Corpus Christi or Padre Island from here.
Anywhere I could have an ocean, or I'll even take the Gulf of Mexico again. I'd be in heaven. No snow. Hopefully I can just sit on the beach and write all day.
Yeah, we're sitting here waiting for the Snowpocalypse Part 2.
Come down here.
I
So
would.
are you guys all out of bread and milk? It's like you're that's what
No.
happens down south.
I'm a good scout. I stocked up this morning.
That'll be good.
So I'm good to go. And hell, I've even got what's like 10 candy bars, a bag of M&Ms.
Oh,
Got
you're
it.
sad.
Oh yeah, I said I'm good, man. I'm every stoner's dream right now with the crap I got here.
Good.
Yeah, I might not live healthy, but I will live.
With diabetes, but
All right, Wilford Brimley.
They catch you in the sugar coma, but that's okay.
Hell, beats a
What a way
COVID
to
coma,
go.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So now, something that always fascinates me with you writers is how, when it comes time to kill off a character, you obviously have a reason for it. How often, because you mentioned it earlier, that sometimes you get surprised by yourself, like when you're going to kill somebody, but how often does that happen, that you're just writing, you have no intention of killing this character, you're just making your way along, and all of a sudden it's like, whoo, you get to die today.
Well, I have characters that I planned to kill and planned in my head how I was going to kill them that are still characters. I have main characters that people loved and like I said, you just make their death slow, torturous, and if you're going to kill somebody the fans like, get something out of it. they should be sitting back so pissed off at me that they're still going to read the next book, but they're not going to talk to me for a week.
Love it.
Make it
Yeah.
worth it. But like I said, it's I don't know. Sometimes I wish I could sit down and plan out a book. My planning a book is 5 sentences. Where I want the first section the end, first act the end, where I want the second act the end, where I want the third act the end, and where the finish of the book should be. As long as I get there. I don't
Finish
care how.
line, baby.
Exactly.
It's like the world's round, right? You're going to get there one way or another.
Why? You're not wrong.
I mean, but I have tried to plan books and done nothing more than bore myself out of the entire idea.
Now, have you ever caught yourself at that moment where you're killing a certain character and you're like, damn it, I didn't want to kill you?
Not usually at that moment, maybe a couple chapters down the line where I'm like, oh, this would be so perfect for Angel to come in here and do this, since that's what he does. It's too bad
That's enough.
Yeah.
The 50 zombies back in that.
That's
bar.
another question. That is another question I often ask is, do you ever regret killing someone down the line and it's too late to do anything about it? And you just answered that question.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
it's
there-
good to know
there-
that it's good to know that some of you have a conscience.
There was a main character that dies at the end of book 1 of the Z Chronicles that he's talked about through the entire series. I wish I would have kept him off longer. He was kind of like, to me he was the perfect person. He's old, he was overweight, had 2 great dogs, and his attitude pretty much was, it is what it is, but he had planned for everything, and so then I had to write him back in by well, I'm not going to tell you, but
No spoilers.
yeah, I pretty much told my entire book story.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I'm still seriously interested. So it's not going to stop me from checking
exactly.
it out. Guaranteed, not stopping me at all.
Yeah.
I got a friend of mine who, if he sees a movie, the moment he says, hey, I just checked out such and such, hang up the phone. Because you're about to get the whole damn movie.
Yeah,
So,
shut up. Like, shut the heck up.
No, it's funny. I like when somebody reads a book and you say you're going to go see the movie, and you've read the book too, and they tell you the whole end, and you're like, all right, well, first of all, I read the book, and second of all, I would have liked to have enjoyed the movie and compared it.
Yeah, man.
myself.
Yes.
And then the movie is nothing like the book.
Yeah, you
for me, that perfect example is Jaws.
Yeah.
The book, the movie, both fantastic, standalone.
Yes.
But man, the book, whoa. And I ain't
That
giving
was
no
one of the
spoilers on
first
that.
real books I read when I was a kid, Jaws.
Love Peter Benchley, man. And you know, his
yeah.
thing, he learned after the fact that he really kind of made sharks look bad, and he became like a shark enthusiast and all that,
Yeah.
and it was after the fact that he got rich, off that whole thing. And then it was like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't have portrayed that shark so bad. You ever have any moments like that? Feel like maybe I shouldn't have made this particular character look this way, or shouldn't have done a certain thing?
No, because I try. I think everybody has good and evil in them. Everybody does good and everybody does some questionable thing. Not myself, of course, but other people.
Angel.
So
I
you
plead the
can't
fifth,
really,
Jack. You heard?
if
I plead the
somebody's
fifth.
too evil, it's kind of like having a too perfect character that gets away with everything. I mean, you got to somewhat feel sorry or like your evil person.
Yeah, you don't want to marry Sue, in other words.
Right, right. And then some people will say, well, I have female characters and they're my main characters. And I grew up in a family with strong females. So it's not like I don't have the basis. And they're like, well, what makes you think you could? Because I just wrote them as people. I'm not going into background in the areas I don't know. They're just people surviving a zombie apocalypse. Do you really care what somebody is or does, or when a zombie's going to chew your face off and they're saving you? No, I don't care what you did pre-plague him pre-zombie apocalypse.
Well,
Now,
man,
have you? Go ahead, Rich.
I'm sorry, I was going to ask you, like, in terms of your story, I mean, before you start writing a book, do you have everything that you want in the book up here in your head, or does things just kind of come to you as you start writing?
Mine is more like watching a movie in my head, and I have to go back and tighten things up and constantly fix things. I know where I want it to end, and like I said, I know where I want each section to end. If you're trying to get to Florida to a safe haven, I know I want you here in Mississippi at the end of this. Here's where you're going to deal with these 3 or 4 things that you have to, beyond that, no, you could end up in Walla Walla, Washington under Florida. In my I'll have somebody that can't read a map right, and you'll be in the middle of nowhere. I've always wanted to write where the town is either in like Alabama or Georgia, in the back areas, and it's only about 50 people and they're fighting a zombie apocalypse. And it's not really the people in the town, it's large herds coming across the town because the town has like 3 stoplights and 10 streets.
Atlanta and Birmingham coming over or whatever.
Yeah, and them just trying to survive that. Problem is, I've never lived in a town that small, and the only time I lived down south was in Florida, and I pretty much just went to the beach and had a great time the whole time.
Well, hey, feel free to use Gallatin, Tennessee, because we are the littlest big town you'll ever meet.
Like I keep trying to get Javon to tell me where he lives. One, because I could use it in my book, and 2, I know that they're stocked for the apocalypse. I got someplace to go.
Well, not to pat myself on the back, but I have had actually sat in that man's living room, and it is definitely the sticks. Way out.
That's why I want to be
way out with a big giant lake not too far away, which is fun in its own right, hence where he wrote his books from. And I've got to see a lot of the stuff there, which is one of the things I find fun. When you write your books, how often do you like reference real life landmarks that people can be like, I could see that. I know that place. I've been there.
In the Percy Chronicles, if you were from around here, you would know exactly where every place is. I've had people say, I was reading through, and then I realized that's where Walmart is. That store. I know that corner, and I know where this is, and that just helped me at the time. Now every town I write is may have a different name and different streets, but it's pretty much a place I know.
Sweet.
Which is easier for me to picture, your car breaking down, crossing a bridge over on this side of town, and then you running into the zombies.
Hey, as good as it sounds, I like that. Oh, go ahead.
In my books, I have what I call the slow, stupid zombies. I also have what they call zombie 2.0, where they're fast and a little bit smarter. And then I have the hybrid zombies, which are really smart. And the 2.0s actually like hunt people in wolf packs and trap them. Like they're liable to wound you and leave you laying there crying for help, and then they wait for other humans to show up, and then they attack and eat them. Now, I know a lot of people don't like that. What's your thoughts on that? Because I get bored with just slow shuffling.
Well, I'm going to start with the
Zombies,
writers.
right?
I'm going to start with the writers on this. Angel, what do you think?
About the hybrid, I actually think I like the hybrid zombie idea. I mean, then again, I'm biased because I did play another Resident Evil growing up, so I'm into. So I kind of like the idea of the fast zombies, the fast and smart zombies. It may be a new, more unrealistic, but then again, we don't know what zombies really are. It's
Right.
so it could be that your idea is the correct idea. So I'm open to it. I'm game.
All right, Richard.
And, me personally, I was a huge Romero and Walking Dead fan, and I despise fast zombies because I just thought, fast zombies, it's just not realistic unless they were just infected live people, not Walking Dead. If they're Walking Dead, they're running with rigor mortis. I mean, that's not scientifically possible, I think. But
Right.
when I started writing my book, I was like, well, it's Sasquatches fighting zombies, and I decided to make the zombies actually Wendigos. And
Okay, I could see that.
and I'm like, just the slow shamblers. That's just like shooting fish in a barrel for a well-armed Sasquatch. I had to make it more challenging. So I went with a Wendigo, and they're fast, they're strong, they're intelligent, and way more of a threat than the Romero type. So.
Well, that's the way I saw it too. It's really, unless I'm surrounded, even being an old fat guy, I can get away from a shuffler. If not, I'll make sure I'm with somebody I can trip.
There you go.
But and that was the thing. And in the new book, I'm going to have some that only come out at night. I was and then basically because I'm a big fan of the I Am Legend book, which they're not zombies, they're vampires. But I like the idea of after dark. So you have something to worry about during dark, and then something to hide from after.
So it's kind of like the Night Runners from the
Yeah, I
interview
could
we
pretty
had to
much
postpone.
By the time I actually sit down and pick up on the writing again, I'll probably have everything from UFOs and Spock, Captain Kirk showing up.
Well, hey, just so you know, if you want to use my name because you ain't got one handy for somebody that's about to get split in half or disemboweled or whatever, fucking have at it. I'm good with it.
And to go back to that, in Nefertum, the main character's name, I couldn't come up with one, so I sat one day and spent, on research, mind you, an hour going through the most popular children's names of 1980 to 83, and the most popular of 90 something was for a male was Easton, and I thought Easton baseball bats, that's his name. Where's that?
Damn.
Virginia, that just popped in my head. I mean, that's like an older name, I think. But
Hey, I got a friend named Virginia.
okay,
We
well,
call
it's not
her
older.
we call her Jenny, Ginyy.
Yeah, Virginia would kick your rear for calling her. Yeah, she's like a little psycho, but a lovable psycho. And the dog.
Hey, that's why I hang out with these two. So now, what going forward? What are your big plans? Do you even have big plans? Or are you just kind of flying by the seat of your pants, like this show, or do you have like an objective? Like I plan on being here at some point.
I never plan that. Well, I can't say I never. I don't like to plan I'll be here because, as we all know, you never know what kicks to the crotch life is going to give you. Book wise, I plan on doing 4 books in a new series, 3 novellas, and I'd like to say I'll do that this year, but last year is the first year since 2014 I didn't publish it. I just sat down to write and wrote three sentences, deleted 3 sentences, wrote 4 sentences, deleted 4 sentences, got up and said, you know what, I'm going to go downstairs and have something cool to drink and half of a pie, and then we'll come back after that. And then, I would get on Facebook and I'll be reading everything in written on that, checking out other things. And then I'm going to get serious. I'm going to get off this and go right now. And then I find some TV show I've never seen and I'm watching 12 episodes, getting up for work, 2 hours sleep because I saw the last one and I'm all irritated that they didn't have another season.
Or Sundays, or if it's Sunday and you got to watch the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, but that'll put you into a bad mood and you just don't want to do nothing.
I don't feel too bad, Anthony. I mean, Tony, we stank as well, and you actually beat us. So
hey, keep the faith. Keep the faith. I'm a Titans fan. I'm a Titans fan. It's been a long time coming since '99.
My colors don't bleed. I just don't have to be happy about it.
No, exactly. That's what I'm trying to tell Jack. I mean, I don't want to quit on the team. It's just tough when they stink so bad. It makes you miserable sometimes. And Tony knows what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
And Jack
all right.
too. I mean, they've been Titans have been pretty bad for a long time, so he knows.
That's why I'm keeping this mug right here just to keep rubbing it in everybody's face. Lucky.
I see you're Jack the Snack now.
We're getting to the top of the hour, so it's time to start wrapping up there. So we'll finish it like we always do. We'll start with Angel. Where can you be located and what have you got going on right now?
Yes. So you can find me on the Written Undead as always. You can also find me on my Facebook group, The Legionnaires Evangelist Maximus. You can also find and right as far as what I have up for now, I have my newest book just came out, Betrayal of the Arcanine 2 First Trial. It's already out and it's selling pretty well. Book 1 of that series is 99 cents if you're in the United Kingdom or United States. So go grab that now if you want to catch up. And I got some giveaways in the Written Undead group too. So, go check that out. Some of them are going to be closed tonight. Some of them are going to be closed tomorrow. Other than that, as for my next book, it's going to be outside of zombie genre. We're going back to a pure historical fiction. So that should be fun.
That's your strong suit, bro.
Yep. So, and that's all for now. All right, Richard.
All right, so right now I've got Wild Eyed Southern Boys. You can find me at Richard R. Rose Author on my Facebook page. My website is going in for a rehaul, so it's going to be revamped and new and improved, coming out really soon. And Wild Eyed Southern Boys is available on all formats on Amazon, Audible, Goodreads, and iTunes, and also Kindle Unlimited. And I have completed the draft of the prequel novella for Wild Eyed Southern Boys, coming out, looks like next month in all formats. Wild Eyed Southern Boys, the Rougarou War, working title, but that's what it's going to be about. And you'll find me here every week on the Written Undead podcast as well. So last but not least, Tony, what you got?
I'm just everywhere. So when you least expect it, I'll be there. No, I'm not sure when my current books are going to be out.
Where can we find the old ones?
Amazon, Audible. Some of them are on Apple iBooks. You can find them all there. I have AL White Fan Club and the AL White page. And I'm at the Written Undead. I don't post a lot anymore. But somebody made me an expert, and it embarrasses me when it says expert because I'm definitely not an expert on anything.
Well, I'm sure your readers would disagree with that.
I was going to say I'm an expert at messing things up sometimes, but sometimes that's intentional, so you're not asked to do them again. Now, like this was really fun. Thank you for asking me to be on here.
Well, hopefully
that wasn't your most boringest one.
No, that was Richard. Anyway.
You're terrible, Jack.
What can I say? Well, man, thank you so much for being on with us this week. Sorry I wasn't at my 100% worst, but I want to close it out real quick because I'm a shill for everybody in the Written Undead, and I'm sure y'all have noticed I'm wearing a certain T-shirt, and this is from one of our other featured authors, the wonderful, insane, crazy, awesome Merrill David, writer of the Wicked Awake series, which I have hanging on the wall over here, by the way. So check him out while you're at it. AL, man, thank you so much for doing this. This has been an absolute treat. It's been a blast. I look forward to getting into your books. I'm definitely going to Audible right after we get off of here because I'm closing in on the end of a series right now. So I'm going to need something to start for that 45 to an hour minute drive to work and that hour and a half drive to come home, because that's where I consume most of my wonderful freaking horror from you guys. Y'all are awesome. You're awesome. All of y'all are awesome. Thank you so much. And unless somebody else has something else to say, I think we can close her out.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later, everybody.
Later, guys. It's been fun.